That should be popping up. Cool, we're live over on YouTube. Go drop a like on the wash party video. If you're joining us on YouTube, we are about to watch the Into the Light dev live stream number 3 in a watch party, so make sure you stay tuned. That goes for everybody over on TikTok as well. So we are chilling and waiting for them to go live. We got another 27 minutes though, so we got some time to kill. My wife likes to make me feel bad, guys. She waits until exactly when I go live to say, I was going to ask if you could bring me medicine. So, like, as a husband, my immediate reaction is shut everything down and just go, because I feel like that's what she wants me to do. But she doesn't explain herself, so I don't know what she wants me to do. She's like, I have a headache, so I was going to ask you to bring me some medicine because I don't have any here. And I'm like, okay, because I'll shut down the stream and I'll just go. Guess that's what I'm going to do now. Yeah, the raids keep getting easier and easier. Plus, the more you learn the mechanics, it just makes it so much easier. I don't know what's your light level at? Blade, what's your light level at? That's the thing, once you learn all the mods and stuff like that, that's why it sucks that I wasn't there with you, because I usually like to go through people's mods and tell them, like, what's a good idea to run during raids, what you want to look at and stuff like that. Women are fun. We do that all the time. It's so dumb. It's such a head game, man. It's such a head game. Like, especially if you know we're already live. Yeah, but Snacho, we just got done talking about this. We don't have the money for that. We don't have the money for that right now. We're trying not to do dumb stuff like that. Like spend $30 to send somebody ibuprofen. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, that's not financially smart. How old is the younger one? Requires a new activity every 6 seconds. How young is the younger one? What's up, Juan? What happened to the permanent VIP token? We took it away. We have a lot of permanent VIPs. That's not something that stays, you know? Not everybody can, it's not something that everybody can have. It's a hot commodity. You buy it fast and then it goes away. She's 6, but she's high strung. She gets bored so quick. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I forget how many VIPs I have, but we have a lot of VIPs already, permanent VIPs. So I don't want to I don't want everybody in chat to be a VIP, right? Because then, like, that doesn't mean you're a VIP. That just means everybody's got it, right? Finally got malfeasance with Catalyst to drop. Just running strikes and nightfalls. Let's go, Wiser. Want to be a VIP? Juan, aren't you already a VIP? I didn't get one of those. Get one of those, what, the permanent VIP things? I'm telling you, man. A lot of people bought them. A lot of people bought them. It wasn't that hard. And that's the thing. Like, the people that saved up that 100,000 that quick and bought them, they earned them. You know what I'm saying? Like they were here in chat. That makes them a VIP. Yeah, I don't have a lot to give out. And I want to make sure I still have some to give out to like people that may come in that are newer that are just absolutely crazy devoted to the stream. We love that. You know what I'm saying? Buy, sell, sell, sell. What are you talking about? Been using my points for clan invites? I mean, yeah, sure, but so that means that you were more focused on getting people in the clan, which is fine too. Some people need the VIP to feel good. I almost have 300,000 channel points. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there are also people that were buying clan invites that still bought VIP too. So, I mean, that's the thing, man. It's just, you got to buy it when you buy it, you know? Speaking of clan invites, I don't think anybody needs one. I think everybody in chat is already part of the clan. T-minus 20 minutes until the dev live stream. Thank you for the rose, Juan. I'm trying to save up for VIP. We don't have a VIP anymore. There's not a redeemable VIP. I'm not in the clan, I guess. Sure. Blade. I could. Who else? Who did I invite to the clan yesterday then? Yeah, I thought I invited you to the clan yesterday, Blade. Oh, it was Yotes. That's right. Yotes got it yesterday. True. No, Blade, go ahead and type your Bungie ID in chat. We'll send you a clan invite. That's right. There isn't this other. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. We got rid of it because we don't have that many VIPs left. And even still, I mean, enough people bought it to where like they already bought the VIP, so we don't want everybody running around with a VIP badge. I'm so ready for Into the Light, man. It's gonna be so fun. How was Blade's first raid? He said he had fun. He said he had fun. That's all you can really hope for. As long as it was a fun time. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for hanging out. If you're watching this after the fact, make sure you skip forward to whenever the live stream actually goes live. We're just waiting on it to pop up right now. Thank you guys for hanging out. Yeah. I don't want to speak too soon, but it looks like internet is holding steady today too, so that's a W. I mean, yesterday it was just bad as soon as we started, so. Who else needs a clan invite? I don't think. I guess Blade was the only one. Juan, are you playing today? Got the YouTube up and I have it playing picture in picture. Let's go. Later, yeah, nice. Who's playing today? Have a good day, Sizzins chat. Got to get back to work. I bet. Ice, we will be here when you get done. I'm not home for another hour or so, so I'm watching on TikTok. Nice. Little essays that take care. Let little essay play, dog. There we go. We're live. I thought we were live. There we go. Let me unmute. Oh, we love the Destiny music. Where did it go? There we go. So good. All right, now we're just waiting on them to start. Don't have to go to work until 4 p.m. CST. Let's go. That's like all day. We start with Iron Banner, right? We hop right into Iron Banner. Is that what we're doing? I'm curious what they talk about today. I think since this is the last live stream, there could be something hot dropping today. There could be something crazy dropping today. We definitely need to be here. We must stay focused. We must stay focused. Get the sponsors off the corner, just in case we got to make a video out of something. Don't want it to be in the way. Make it be smaller a little bit. Get me out of the way here. Actually, no. Just drop me down. That's right. That's what I did last time, right? I just dropped myself to the corner. That was pretty good. Alright, the weapons are not dropping all at once on the 9th. Is that true? Yes, they're dropping 6 right off the bat, which are going to be some really good ones right off the bat, as well as Edge Transit, which is going to be your best grenade launcher to get for damage if you're doing day 1. So, but that's the thing. The other ones are going to be released once a week for 6 weeks. The other 6. But I mean, it's time gated. Like, that's what Destiny does. We just, come on, man. Oh yeah, they're going to talk about the 2 exotic missions probably. Probably going to be Whisper and Outbreak, if we had to guess. But we shall see. They might tell us exactly which ones are coming. I got my rat loaded as well, Wither and Horde. Dude, I'm doing Wither Horde and a Prosecutor, man. I'm coming in there with a Prosecutor, just being sweaty for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Just gonna be sweaty for no reason. Juan. I got an adept one with heating up frenzy. I guess frenzy. I don't know. A craftable Whisper and Outbreak would go crazy. Yeah, I'm wondering what would be the best thing for Whisper. Like, I wonder what they would do with it. I was so close. I was on final boss Warlord solo flawless. Dang, that's tough. I feel like I'm getting a lot better. I've gotten a lot better at Warlords by just solo flawlessing it. Like, I feel like a lot of it is so easy now. I died right before Final Stand because I got greedy for an extra Izzy shot. It sucks that they patched it to where you can't jump down from the boss too. So you have to square up with him right there. That sucks. Because I think I got mine easy because we were able to jump away. What's up, Goosey? I'll be hanging out in here. I'm just playing some Pokemans, trying to catch my legendaries. I bet. Hopefully the mountaintop isn't the last one. I'll still play regardless, but I really want that. That's the thing. I'm going to be here every week, right? So. Dang, we're gifting subs to Bungie, dude. Like, where's the gifted subs to the Bungie creators? Come on, man. Show some love, dude. Bungie don't need that money. I do. Early alert today. Let's go. What's up, Preach? Yo, can we get a shout out for Preach in the chat, man? How's the games been going, man? Fade looking clean. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Me too, Bubba. I appreciate it. My barber probably appreciates it too. She does some awesome work. I'll be waiting for the invite. Yeah, we'll get you the invite. Don't worry about that. Thank you for the shout out to Preach. Guys, if y'all don't follow Preacher Guy, go follow Preacher Guy. His name says it all. You're going to get some good, awesome, wholesome, quality content over there, playing some Apex. Dudes grinding, dudes hustling, throwing his kids in pools. Love to see it, man. Using the Lego money to go pay for skins on Apex. You know, doing everything a father should do. Teaching the hard lessons. I wonder what the final shape has in store. Well, we know it's going to be at least a raid and a dungeon. We know at least that. Is the update about to hit? No. So the Into the Light update comes out next week. This is the last dev live stream for showing us what it's going to bring. And then next week it'll go live. By the way, Preach, I'm finally doing a subathon. I may want to pick your brain about it. How you figure out, you know, how much time you had on the clock and how you run your clock and stuff like that. I need to figure out a good clock situation. How the time gets added. I bet the Witness will be in the final shape. You know, he might. 10 minutes. We got another 10 minutes to wait. While we wait, you know we gonna hydrate. They'll do some more dev streams closer to the actual date. Yeah, like right before Into the Light comes out, they'll probably do some more live streams to show us what's coming. Tier 1 sub 10 minutes, Tier 2 sub 20 minutes, Tier 3 30. I mean, true. I just got to figure out how to set up the timer. It's not necessarily the algorithm of figuring out how much time will get added. I think it was 1 sub for 10 minutes. But the issue is like finding out how to either get the clock to do it itself or an easy way for me to hit a button and add time. I'll just have to look into that. I'll probably do it off stream today. Got to get that ready for next week. And then every 1,000 bits adds 5 minutes. That doesn't make sense. Because 1,000 bits is $10. And you actually get to keep more of that than the sub that cost 5. So 1,000 bits would actually be better. Might just kick my sisters out, tell them to kick rocks for a bit. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. The music is so nice. Tristan, thank you for the sub over on YouTube. Guys, the YouTube numbers are going crazy right now, man. We're halfway to getting partnered for live streams over on YouTube. It's where we can do memberships and stuff like that. Soothing like DSC, troop. Watch this. Watch what? Oh, you share it to somebody? What are we watching? Subbed on YouTube? Let's go. I don't think it... Maybe it didn't pop up. Sometimes if people like have like private accounts or something like that, thought it would do the thing. Yeah, sometimes if you have like a privacy setting, it doesn't pop up that you sub to somebody. Like I don't always get the alerts for subs. It's weird. But I appreciate you nonetheless, Goosey. Six more minutes. Love you. I love you back, man. I appreciate you. We're just trying to play Destiny, man. That's all we're doing. Do it non-toxic. We're just trying to play games in general, man. Just have fun. So, come here often? Yep, I do. Every week. Every week at 11 o'clock. All the time. Always on this game. As soon as it resets. Can't wait for the Final Shape raid. They'll probably have the jumping puzzle made where you can't skate or grapple across. Maybe. I mean, skating was a thing in Root of Nightmares, but we still skated. We still have a lot of skating spots. And for that matter, grappling was a thing in Root of Nightmares, and we could still grapple everywhere. It's hard to make it to where you can't grapple across stuff, you know? It's easy to put up walls in the open areas to where you can't skate across stuff, but... All right, 3 minutes. They've been starting on time every week, so we should be pretty close. Invisible walls, yep. I just want the raid to be hard. I mean, we're fighting the biggest bad we've fought so far, so I hope it would be. And they've been ramping up the difficulty on a lot of these raids. They're finding out. I mean, they're not going to give us time to cook. There's no way they give us a long damage phase. If they give us a long damage phase, then... they honestly haven't learned anything. But with Nezzy, they gave us a very short damage phase. With Crota, they gave us a very short damage phase. They shortened up a lot of stuff, you know? So I think that they'll make it a very quick damage phase on the bosses. You know what I miss? What do you miss? Glow goo. Oh my god. Yeah, the glow goo. I just want it not to be exploitable. That's difficult in any video game, man. The coding and everything. There's gonna be holes in places you can exploit stuff. It's hard to make it perfect. Yeah, if you give us a long damage phase, we're one phase in a boss, and that's just they just can't give us time to cook, you know. Why are we rioting? How much longer? Should be starting soon. Like less than a minute. They've been starting on time every week, so. Ways to extend damage phase like Warlords. Yeah, true. That was a cool little, like, not necessarily a mechanic, but a little quirk about shooting out the eyes. You can extend the damage phase. Oh, here it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's good to see y'all. Welcome to our third of 3 developer live streams to talk about all the cool stuff coming up with Destiny 2 Into the Light. My name's Andy. I work on the social media team here
right on time.
And we've got an awesome set of topics to go ahead and cover today. But first things first, we wanted to go ahead and remind you guys of one clarification we made. For starters, all of the weapons in the Brave Arsenal will now be releasing on April 30th. So just as a quick reminder, all those weapons will be available for you to farm over the course of Onslaught. There's many ways with which you can go about it. For starters, obviously, you can go ahead and attune yourself to a weapon. So whether you want to go ahead and grab that recluse that you've had your eye on for so long.
Why is PvP not a bigger focus on Destiny?
Do that over the course of Onslaught.
They're making it a bigger focus, especially with Final Shape and stuff.
Go ahead and farm some additional.
They got more teams and stuff. They're focusing on it a little bit more.
Chances to dive in, grab the weapons you want, whether it be through our site's quest lines or otherwise.
Yo, they got Outbreak sitting on the table.
Open and available.
Guys, they have Outbreak sitting on the table. Did anybody else realize that?
Including some reprised exotic
missions.
I
realized it.
A look at the PvP map.
Outbreak's on the table.
Details at the end that we'll go ahead and share with you in just a bit. But as usual, it won't just be me talking through it. So let's go ahead and tell you about the wonderful folks I have here just to my left. Some incredible developers here at Bungie. We'll go ahead and start with the gentleman here to my left. Friend of the show, one and only Mr. Tom Farnsworth, Senior Design Lead here at Bungie. Tom,
and Whisper's in the corner. Where's Whisper? Oh, Whisper's behind his head.
Possibly let you go.
Whisper's behind his head.
Of course, I'm the creative lead for Into the Light, but we're
Let's
really
go,
here
dude.
to talk about all the great work the team has done and these individuals here with us today. And we're going to talk about some missions,
confirmed.
Some rewards associated with them. And some PvP stuff. So
here we go. I got the clip right here. All right, Outbreak's on the table. Whispers behind the dude's head. Confirmed.
Rob Adams,
Outbreak and Whisper are going to be the returning
and kind of the person helping
exotic missions.
The concept of Into the Light. Rob, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for
Outbreak on the table. Whisper behind the dude's head. Thought nobody would notice, but we did.
About a lot of cool stuff. We'll have.
We know what exotic missions are coming back.
Just a little bit, and of course, the one and only Willie Chang, activity designer here at Bungie. How you doing, Willie? Good morning.
I'm doing well.
For the folks at home that may not be familiar with you,
Andre, you want that?
What do you do here at Bungie, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm an activity designer for Into the Light. I worked on the 0 Hour reprise.
Excellent. Well, with that, we may as well start diving into the show at hand. We have a lot of cool stuff to start with. In addition to, like we mentioned, some awesome reprised exotic missions, including the Whisper and 0 Hour, which will both feature, craftable versions of each weapon. But let's go ahead and start at the top with the Whisper. We've had a chance to go ahead and kind of pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes a little bit. Let's go ahead and start from the very top. Rob, you were there when it all started. Why did Bungie make?
He just said, yeah, they just said what's coming.
Well, I think in the first few months of D2, I want to say like the first 3 to 5 months, we felt like there weren't enough secrets in the game. It felt like the game was pretty well known, you know, and kind of like discovered. And it just needed some big secret to be found by the players. And we thought that that would excite our community quite a bit. Like it would just go over really well. We hoped it would at least.
Yeah.
And we had all this nostalgia for the Vault of Glass and Black Spindle. I mean, one day we were just sitting in a conference room and we're like, what if we
That
just
outbreak
made
looks
the Black
sick.
Spindle mission, but we made it a lot bigger,
Yeah.
right?
Speaking of, we've got here on
Yeah,
screen,
these behind your head, I do.
kind of some, if we can call it as such, original concept art, you'd say, for the Whisper.
Yeah, it's concept art.
Yeah,
Are
can
you
tell us a little bit
kidding
about
me?
what we're looking at here?
Well, that's actually the very first whiteboard drawing when we got all excited and we ran and found a conference room and we started, drawing what this could do, what we would want to build. And really, this kind of shows some of the magic formula. Like we had a contract, really, that we called it a contract. And
That's crazy that that's the beginning of the concept
an
art.
unspoken agreement between us as devs
That's freaking hilarious.
and the hardcore, super engaged players.
Yeah.
And it really was, if you can pass a test where your mind is going to be tested, your fighting, right?
Yeah.
Is going to be tested, and you're going to be able to pass these tests, right?
Yeah.
Your movement, your mind, your fighting.
Yeah.
If you can get past these tests, you're going to be rewarded with great power.
Yeah.
And that was the contract. And so one of the other things we did, and you can see it up here in the
What's up,
upper
good?
left,
Yeah.
is there's a little crack, and then the path continues.
Yeah.
And that, that's the red herring. And so we thought, well, rather than lead players by the nose and have a bunch of narrative and make it really obvious what you're supposed to do, what if they get into this mysterious place and they don't know what to do? And when they go down the path that they think is right, it's not.
Yeah.
And they go blazing right past the actual opening.
Yeah.
And so we knew or we were pretty confident that that was going to appeal.
Dev
to the
streams are
hardcore
always a
players
W.
because
Yeah, no, it's
once
great.
they learned the path,
Right.
they could then bring their friends in and show them, and then we would have the videos, with the walkthroughs, and it would just appeal to
We love it whenever the devs come in and like tell us exactly what their brain's at on stuff.
Also, too, is to kind of focus a little bit more on the art direction as well. I think, to put it lightly, the vibe in the Whisper is pretty intense. Can you tell us what it was like, kind of imagining that space and bringing it to life?
So cool.
Yeah, well, we wanted this like intense mystery vibe, right? The mystery of I'm on IO and I found this place that I've never seen, I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
And where does it go, right? And that mystery, and also the feeling of dread.
You never played that mission? So fun.
Yeah, and it's easy to get a vibe.
It was
if
so
you
cool.
listen
It was
to
like a
one
time
type of
trial.
music, for example.
Right.
So we were watching Stranger Things.
You had to do it so fast.
And I got really
Yeah, you
into
missed
this,
out. Yeah.
building this traversal puzzle. It has a really consistent vibe because
It was
just
us
one
like
type of
figuring
music
out
that was
exotic
listened to.
missions
Yeah.
for the first
Speaks
time,
to
you
my
know?
Hotline Miami fan.
Yeah.
Inside, honestly. Yeah.
Is the Whisper coming
Also,
back?
too,
Yes,
we've
it's going to be
got
Whisper and
another picture as
Outbreak.
well
They've
of
already
the,
confirmed
the
it.
infamously titled Green Room as well.
There we go.
There was a really
at that.
cool anecdote you had kind of about the development process of this. What was it like bringing this kind of very iconic, I guess I'd say, Destiny room to life?
Yeah, well, this is funny because there was this thing that we wanted to try, right? Make a room that has a trap.
It's been
in
a
the
long
center,
time since I
and
did
if
it.
you mess up, you end up going down the trap, and you
I just
get
remember all
punished
the
for it,
trap
and when
doors,
you
and
get
it was
out,
just
you end up
crazy.
back in the room, and it just happens again and again and again, and there's all these different ways that you try to find your way out of this room.
Right.
So the test was to make a tiny version of this, like 1/4 scale, and we brought it into the playtest lab. We had Cosmo and Dylan. We had a bunch of our testers and designers in there.
Yeah.
And I just waited, right? And I waited for someone to find the hidden shortcut, right? Like what would happen what's going to happen when they find that hidden shortcut?
Yeah.
And so the first person that found it, they just screamed and started laughing, and then everybody started finding it. And based on that reaction, we knew we had something good. And then it got scaled up into what you see here. And back to the vibe thing again.
Yeah.
When this got built, all I did was listen to Black Sabbath, the first 6 albums, like over and over.
Yeah.
So it just has that really,
Anything
really
new?
consistent
Not
vibe all the
yet.
way through.
Not
It's
yet.
just a trick that the whole team uses to get a theme or a vibe to be consistent.
We're going to go ahead also too and start to jump in the activity so we can see this this vibe up close and personal as well. But here we are. We're back in the Whisper as well. Really quickly too, off the top, Willie, when it comes to bringing these encounters forward, bringing them to the modern era of Destiny, what were some of the bigger challenges that you'd say you have to overcome in order to make sure that they were fitting for today's sandbox?
Yeah, so sandbox-wise, players nowadays pack a lot more power than they did before.
Oh, yeah.
People can clear entire rooms of ads from these activities back when there were
Oh,
no
yeah,
original
that's
state.
right. It was Zol,
Just,
dude. I
extremely
forgot.
quickly. So we had to beef up the number of combatants that are in these encounters, and later on I might talk more about additional tuning that I've done on them.
Totally, yeah. We can come back to that in a second, but I think also too, really quickly, back in the day, there was a very bespoke way of getting into the Whisper. You had kind of hang out on IO, wait for
the big worm.
But
the big worm you had to fight
as well. I think you were mentioning before we hopped on the air.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was a victim of it, right? We had the public event with the RNG, and you had to wait for the right one. And one time I tried to take a
Luna's house void? No, it's solar.
I spent like 7 hours just trying to get a few runs because of the public event. And that we just had to change that, right?
Dude, hugging this wall and dying so many times from not timing it right and not knowing where to stop.
You go and talk to. So you'll be talking to Eris Morn. Eris Morn is going to tell you some really cool
and then
stuff.
trying to jump across.
Smart, yeah.
But you're not going to have to deal with the frustrating trigger to get in anymore.
Excellent. No, that's always good to hear.
Because you had to get up.
Especially if people are going to come back in here multiple times as they kind of build up their craftable exotics. Obviously, a pretty key component. Also, too, is I think it's
jump
worth
up on the nugget.
That this is.
I used to go around nice. I used to jump up on top of that thing and get higher.
For the veteran players who are coming in here, folks
that
like
way
myself,
it was super easy to get all the way up there.
To memory. How have you gone ahead and made sure that it's fresh for those veteran guardians out there?
Yeah, well, the goal was, how is this going to be exactly what you just said, right? Like if I've played this 10, 15, 20 times, I've guided people through, maybe I've made a video about how to get through here. How's it going to speak to me, right? Like what's going to be cool for me to go in and do it again? And that was the goal that the team had. And when we knew we were going to do this, I made my own list, right?
Yeah.
Like I was like, we're going to change this, we're going to move that, we're going to.
Will the elevator kill us?
Really
yeah, you don't ride the elevator, you jump
up.
up.
Tom was in this meeting. So I show up.
If it's the obvious answer, it's not the right answer.
And they presented this whole plan, and I had my list all
this
ready
place
to go,
sucks.
and I was going to wait. I was going to listen to all the proposal and everything, and then start giving ideas and stuff. And when they finally finished presenting this plan for how to update this thing, I just deleted my list because it was like, it was way bigger and way cooler than anything.
Where's the hobgoblins?
Yeah.
It's just so neat to see.
Where's the hobgoblins? Start sniping them.
If you think you know where the chests are, if you
sucked,
think you know where all the secrets are, if you think you know where all
the vandals, not hobgoblins, vandals.
Because they're different. All those old guys, and all the old walkthroughs, they're gonna have to be remade. Even though I'll just give one away. When you first get in, there's that first secret chest room on the right.
Right.
There's like no room to land.
Anomalies take care of it.
So more surprises.
To the Steam
There's more
guide
surprises
writers,
in the
to
secret
game
chest
facts
room.
Writers, to the folks making their YouTube videos, a revision 2 is going to be in order sometime soon.
Oh yeah.
By the sounds of it.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. Also, too, is are there any other changes that you guys are particularly excited about when it comes to the Whisper? We're going to move on to 0 Hour here in a little bit, but before we conclude our journey
all the way down,
Willie, actually on your side, are there any changes in particular that you're excited about with this updated version?
I'm excited about the way that the boss fight has changed for this activity.
Interesting. All right. Well,
Does the boss fight change?
To go ahead and discover on their own when it comes to the launch day.
He's using Eager Edge Falling Guillotine. He is.
Yes, this is a first look for the folks out there who are looking to go ahead and make sure that they're ready on day one to go ahead and add another craftable exotic into their collection. Obviously, the Whisper is going to be there for you, but we don't want to spoil all of it. You'll have it in your hands soon enough. And also, some folks out there have already had a chance to play it, so we don't want to go ahead and uncover too many of the mysteries. Up next, we've also got, obviously, another iconic one, 0 Hour. Let's start from the top.
I never did this
Can you explain, Rob, the concept behind Trevor? You've obviously got an homage to.
I think I took a break whenever this one came out.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about what this original concept was?
So Trevor was really inspired by this. There's this Japanese game show called Takeshi's Castle, and it's been around a while. And it's great because it has all these physical challenges and people getting knocked down or flipped over and stuff and trying to get through things and there's just a lot of comparisons to what we try to do in Destiny, and we've borrowed from that show and shows like it for a long time for cool ideas. And they have this one bit where the contestants try to get up this hill, and there's this big fake boulder that comes down the hill, right? And there's these little like side rooms, like little pockets that they can try to get into. And so we were like,
just can't wait for final shape. Yeah.
If we had something like that in the middle of this mission, that would be amazing, right? Like, and so we had this thing that we called. There it is.
Yeah, we got some concept art up on. Now.
So we had this thing that we called the hazard for a long time. The hazard is going to get you, right? And it's going to come down at you. And on the left, you can see the original whiteboard drawing of what this could look like. And there you see the hill with the slots.
Yeah.
We basically lifted off of Takeshi's Castle.
And
then that
no, I did this one. I did this one. I remember the robot in the maze.
Right. And then there's the very first drawing of Trevor. And on the right,
I forgot about
you
that.
can see a concept art by one of our artists named Fan Gao. And when I looked at it, it had a bit of a vacuum cleaner look. You know, it didn't quite
the
nail
maze
the
with Trevor.
fear,
Sure.
You know, which
he
which
tries
we
to
might
kill
talk
you.
about in a second here.
Oh, yeah.
So then on the far right,
He sucks.
you can see the centipede legs and the light and the final revision. That's pretty close to how Trevor ended up.
Yeah, you'll scream
It
like a little
definitely-
girl.
It feels terrifying.
It's not a boulder. It's a it's a bot. It's a robot that chases you.
The legs,
Good job, Tom.
which brings up honestly another great example I'd love to touch on as well is, you know, as a guardian myself, we've felled gods. We've fought some of the most difficult battles in the universe, whether it's against our fellow guardian or the many foes that
It's
set
a rock?
foot inside the solar system.
About the robot?
When it comes to Trevor in particular, it elicits a very primal, sincere fear. How did you guys kind of elicit that from players who have obviously conquered so much?
Well, I think there's this like satisfaction from scaring people that's inherent in everybody. Like,
Oh my God.
We've all scared somebody, I think, at some point. It's just super fun, right?
Yep.
So what could we do in Destiny to actually make people feel fear? And the team was super excited about how to try to tackle that problem. Because you're right? Like Guardians can just jump away and kill everything, and we're just gods.
Visible and
God
dodge away.
killers. Yeah, exactly.
To do it, yeah.
So how do you scare our players in the game, right? So the first step was drop you in a maze.
Yeah.
There's something in there that you cannot kill. You can't jump up.
You
because the
can't get
ceiling
over
is
it.
just above your head, right?
Yeah.
So those were the first three things. This thing is faster than you.
Yeah.
So you know you're in there with something that you can't kill that can go faster than you. And then of course we did the centipede bottom, which I have this particular phobia of centipedes. Like,
The fact that you took something that is such a fear and put it front and center, honestly, like it's commendable.
I watched
tower,
this video, like a week ago, where this dude takes a giant centipede and lets it bite him on the arm.
I think they said, didn't they say they were going to bring back the tower in final shape?
Centipedes terrify me.
It's going to be a mix of like the old tower and the new tower?
Sideways centipede legs that are made out of metal, and they just grind you up when it catches you. And then the final piece of the formula for this thing really was
Yeah, I thought they said they were going to bring it back, but it wasn't going to be like exactly like the old tower.
Shine as a
But they were
shadow
going to bring back
caster
the nostalgia of the old
like,
tower.
past your body, so you can see your own shadow as you're trying to get away.
Yeah.
And honestly, like a lot of it was inspired by the anxiety that I feel, and I think folks on the team also felt when we talked about like the trope of a subway that's coming around the corner. Right.
So you see that finite just clock running out in front
coming.
of you.
Yep. You see the light coming, and then you see the thing.
Yeah.
And so that really helped us figure out how to make this thing as freaky as
This
possible.
time, no Indiana Jones laying down on the tracks hoping for the best here.
Yeah, no.
Not a chance, no. Trevor's going to chew you up, honestly. So also, we found ourselves now, we're in the beginning stages here of the Whisper.
Look at the Traveler.
Willie, we kind of touched on this briefly over the course of the Whisper, but can you tell us a little bit about what it was like sort of
Look at the Traveler
reinventing
sitting
these
there.
combat spaces and these encounters for Guardians in a modern sandbox, especially those that are going to have the Brave arsenal available to them?
Yeah, so just now you saw a brig in this encounter, which there wasn't one before. I think there's the desire to keep the soul of the activity, which is that, oh, there's time pressure on me to finish this activity quickly.
When
and
do we drop
also
down
I'm,
into the?
going up against powerful enemies that are trying to stop me from doing that.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that the combat still felt challenging, even in today's sandbox. So we added some new combatants with the brig. And we also just increased the number of combatants, period, so that players had more to do with their more diverse and deadly tools.
Yeah, Guardians have plenty of those available to them. When you were developing these combat spaces as well, were there any moments where you really thought to yourself, like, all right, this is it. Like, we've really centered in on what was great about this mission originally, but this is going to be appropriately challenging for today's Guardians?
Yeah, I think when we play tested it and we had everybody load up with their like new maneuverability tools, their swords, their grapples, to go through the activity, and then we were expecting that like, oh, people are going to breeze through this like it's nothing, like the original 20-minute timer has to become something else. But really, all of that translated over pretty well. Like the individual sections are self-contained enough that like you can't bypass too many things by just using one new tool.
Sure.
The whole thing sort of still felt like 0 hour,
Yeah.
even with your new toolbox.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Even with, we're going to go ahead and jump forward here a little bit as well, using our dev tools to take a look at Trevor as well. So for the folks out there that want to reinstill that fear in themselves, now's a brief chance to check it out. Also, too, is we're in a world where, there's strand grapples, there's shatter skating. When it came to kind of redesigning these activities, or even making, I guess, alterations more appropriately on these activities, with one like Trevor, for example, what was the challenge that you kind of had to overcome with those new movement tools in addition to the combat tools that players have available to them?
Yeah, I guess philosophically, I want to make sure that
Here we are.
people were speccing into being highly maneuverable, then I honor that choice and say, yeah, you're highly maneuverable. Like maybe you're in this hallway
Where's
with
Trevor?
I don't want to be rounded
Trevor?
up by these centipede legs, so I'm going to sword skate through this so that I can have a little bit of speed on Trevor. But you still can't invalidate the challenge entirely. Trevor will still kill you if you mistime those. So they're just like different expressions of how you want to tackle these challenges.
And we're
none
roasting
of
a
those
marshmallow.
Expressions fully
Go
throw
look
these
at Trevor,
challenges
dude.
Yeah, actually, something too that I'm seeing pop up in chat here is the mention of the timer. So for starters, there's also, this is normal difficulty, and there's also legend, isn't that right? Yeah, Tom, can
He's
you tell us a
so
little bit
fast,
about any updates to the timers in these missions as well?
So
He got somebody.
and Willie, feel free to hop and correct me if I'm wrong, but on normal, it's 40 minutes because we want to give players a little bit extra time. If you're new, we want this to be accessible. Everyone would get in there and get the experience. But a lot of our kind of like quests, content, and secrets are in the legend version, which has a 20-minute timer.
Yes.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. Perfect. All right. Thank you, chat.
Go.
In addition to these other updates you've made, are there anything or any changes you've made in particular that you're excited about that you're comfortable talking about it here, or is it just you want players to dive in and find out for themselves?
Yeah.
Father help.
So the whole secret
It's gonna make everybody
for
scream.
0 hour is different. Previously
Is
we had
Trevor the
key
heckin'
cards,
vandal? No,
there's
it's
a
like
place
it's
for
almost like
another
a
secret
sweeper,
system that you'll just have to find
like a street
out
sweeper, but it's got
more
like
about
centipede
for
legs on
yourself.
the bottom,
And
it's chopping
I'm
stuff
also
up,
proud of the boss fight.
and it like moves like the
direction.
speed of
We'll
light.
hold that one close to the vest. Players will have a chance to see that on their own and see Willie's hard work in person very soon. Now, as we mentioned at the top of the show as well, there's going to be craftable versions of these exotics, and we're going to check them out. But there was one more example that I wanted to ask you about, Rob, in particular. There was some discussion briefly about the acronym that is Trevor. Could you tell us what that stands for?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, but I had to open my phone because it's like impossible to remember that.
We all have our notes. Yeah, it's part of the game.
So early on, the team, we just realized we had to figure out an acronym for this because we loved the name Trevor because it was paradoxical. I went to school with a kid named Trevor who was the nicest kid in the entire school. Just nice to everybody to a fault, right? So I always thought like Trevor is just the nicest name. And so paradoxically, here's this evil thing named Trevor, and we thought it was hilarious. But once we alphanumericized, is that a word?
Yeah.
Once we made that, we had to come up with the acronym. So the one that I had was Tracking Robotic 3-Vectored Reducer. Because it reduces, right, Tom? It's like it reduces you, yeah. But that was our internal acronym.
Yeah.
And so when we went to GuardianCon and we did like a fly-through or like a walkthrough.
Yeah.
And so the community team thought that we should let the fans of GuardianCon decide what the actual acronym for Trevor was. And so we had like the 5 different examples, and my tracking robotic was in there.
Oh,
right? That's one of the things. I was like, please pick mine, please pick mine.
Yeah.
And so at the end, what they decided on, and they decided by loud applause, and it was like very obvious that this is what they wanted.
The committee had
Oh yeah,
spoken.
it's like very obvious.
Yeah.
What they decided on was tame, relaxed, triple vac roommate. So that's the official name for Trevor.
It's
The acronym.
codified.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to the denizens of GCX. Thank you very much for your hard work in letting us know.
GCX, not Well,
what
yeah,
Trevor should be called.
GCX.
That's really cool. I wish I'd been there for that.
GuardianCon,
okay,
but
now
yeah,
we're
it's
taking a quick
GCX.
look at the craftable exotics as well. We're going to go ahead and start with Whisper of the Worm. Tom, can you tell us a little bit about what players who are kind of going to go ahead and facilitate their own play style or want to build a Whisper all to their own? What are they going to have to look forward to with all this?
Yeah, even before we get into
Enhanced
the crafting,
box breeding?
like I've got my notes here from Chris Proctor, so
You're the man
I'm ready to
himself.
go. Yeah, he's
Right.
sitting on my shoulder, helping me out here. And we wanted to retain the fantasy of both these weapons, of both Whisper
we
and
got?
Outbreak. And Whisper
me
is
see.
it's a hard-hitting precision weapon where you're in the backfield. Like, and if you land your crits, you're rewarded, and you can sustain a ton of damage on a boss or enemies with a large critical.
Yeah, it's gonna drop the
area.
catalyst immediately.
Ogres will be felled.
Ogres would be felled. The servitors.
You still have to kill.
Yeah.
And then with Outbreak, the fantasy is all about spreading the plague of Siva nanites.
Certainly.
And we'll be able to get to that in a minute. But
So I think we're looking at
Yo, the
Whisper right now.
nanites on
Yeah, so
Outbreak.
specifically with
Oh my
Whisper,
god! If they do anything crazy with
and
that,
Outbreak, for both of them, with both these crafted weapons, they'll both have a craftable barrel, magazine, traits, and stock options. The barrel and magazine options will let you really push the stats around. So you'll be able to have a max stability Whisper if you want.
Yeah.
Which was really advantageous for a weapon that's about this hitting repeated critical hits.
Certainly.
In an area. And then specifically for the perks on Whisper, and both the perks on Whisper and Outbreak are things that by engaging in our secrets week over week,
right, Goosey.
and both of these exotic missions, you'll be able to unlock them. And for Whisper, it starts off with Mulligan, which is the classic perk where if you miss your shots, they get refunded. But
Don't
if
need it.
you
Don't miss.
upgrade it, you can get Field Prep, which will give you more shots, which equals more damage.
Yeah.
And then there's No Distractions, which will allow you to keep under fire, hold your aim on your target better.
Certainly.
And there's also Enlightened Action, which is for more forgiving reloads. So there's, I think, a lot of options for
Field prep.
different play styles. and
Thank you,
different
move
skill
on.
levels there.
Yeah.
And then just the kind of the cherry on top there with Whisper is that it's getting a reserves bump.
Yeah, field prep,
So it's
move
gonna
on.
Go from
That's right.
18 in reserve to 24 in reserve. So you're going to have a ton of ammo to just make it a sustained damage monster.
Yeah.
Which is super exciting.
So ultra precise players.
Don't
like
need it,
myself
don't miss,
who
quote
never
of the
miss a
day.
shot will have even more. Why are you guys laughing? What are you?
Mulligan,
Why
don't
is that
need it,
funny?
don't miss.
No, that's really exciting. We have Whisper the Worm, in addition to Outbreak Perfected, now joining the pool of craftable exotic weapons. Let's take a quick look at Outbreak as well while we're here hanging out in the Enclave. Tom, kind of, second verse, same as the first, same question. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the perks and updates that players will have available to them with their options to craft Outbreak Perfected?
Yep. And so in addition to barrels and mags, it has its classic Outlaw perk is back. So you get your fast reloads and
Nice.
final blows, which works really well with Outbreak. It's all about also landing precision hits to either spawn.
Yep,
nanites
synergizes.
or
Let's
to
go.
kill enemies and spawn nanites and spread that Siva
Accurate,
energy
probably
around.
arrowhead break, probably not
Spread the
extended
plague.
barrel.
And then the second one though that we're added here is Rapid Hit, which plays right into that. So you
Rapid
land
Hit,
your
also
precision
rewind
shots,
rounds.
You get more stability. You get faster reloads. Then another
If you're
new one
hitting
is
headshots with
it. Rewind rounds.
Rewind rounds, just say it.
Yeah, try it out.
Yeah.
Which refills your reserves from to minimize your reload. So if you're hitting shots, you're just going to keep getting more ammo, which
Yeah.
is really kind of interesting.
Perpetual motion machine? No, perpetual death machine.
So yeah, it's do you want
And
do you
head
want us to
seeker,
reload or
like
just
all
keep
of those,
shooting?
all of those headshot perks are all very
and then
good.
There's also a head seeker, which I
All
think
very
maybe
good.
for PvP or for certain play styles where you're.
I think
less,
head seeker, you can
focusing
make a
on kill
PvP
shots, that's something
Outbreak.
to think about
Outbreak's
as
about to go
well.
crazy in PvP.
In terms of catalysts, if you already have them,
Yeah.
you're golden. You can craft those. If you don't,
you go.
play the legend version of Whisper and 0 Hour, and you'll have a chance to get them.
Very cool.
So that's still in there. And then, as I mentioned, for unlocking these new intrinsic perks that you can slot in, there'll be like a 3-week mini quest line that rolls into the secrets for each of these. And Whisper is coming at launch with Into the Light.
Exciting.
And 0 Hour is coming in May.
Perfect. Okay. So be a chance to go.
So
ahead
we
and
get
sink your teeth into
Whisper
0
at
Hour for a
launch
while
with
before
Into
you
the
go
Light.
ahead and change your attention and start unlocking another one of the storied exotics of old.
Yeah.
Also, it's worth mentioning that there are more than just the craftable weapons available as rewards in these missions. There's some tried and true ships. Now, we were talking a little bit about this earlier, but as someone who still to this day wears 1,000 wings,
You get the ship.
yeah, we know the feeling of getting that ship and finally having that I was there moment. The ships are making a return as well, isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so for both Whisper and for 0 Hour, they're coming back. Is it the exact same ship, or are there going to be changes on them?
No, these are actually new assets, right? They're new ships, so they won't
Oh,
be
new
the
ships.
same. They won't sit in the same spot in your inventory, and they are updated to look really cool and new. And I think they're exciting, especially we took the old scrap drifter ship that was, I think. Not really loved particularly by the community because it was literally scrapped together from spare parts to
Right.
get built, and so we did a really nice pass on that. So it's inspired by the look of Outbreak Perfected, and I think it looks great. I think the community is going to love it.
Yeah.
And then we have the Whisper ship, 1,000 Wings. It's got a new design. So you'll still have your old 1,000 Wings. And if you have that equipped, players are going to know that you're OG and that you got it back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And the new one is going to look like the new one, so there won't be any mistaking the old one for the new one.
Very cool. Excellent. So for the players who want to go ahead and continue to build up their collections, there's a chance to go ahead and dive back in. Maybe they weren't there originally, but they want to go ahead and join the 1,000 Wings Club to a degree.
Exactly.
Excellent. So there'll be a chance to go ahead and unlock those as well. Excellent. Well, I think we are actually about at the point of the show we're going to go ahead and get ready to rotate over to the PvP map pack. But for starters, let's go ahead and make sure we thank our incredible team of playtesters here, going ahead and showing off the missions for us. Ashley, Peyton, and Michael, thank you all so much. Very much. There we go. We're getting some waves from the backstage. Thank you all so much for the time. And of course, Willie, I think this is unfortunately the time now we bid you adieu to go ahead and transition into the PvP
Thanks
map.
for having me.
See you soon.
Awesome. Willie, thank you so much. All right, we are now joined by another member of the Bungie development team, a staff artist here who has helped made many of the PvP maps that you've also known and loved, the one and only Mr. Cooley Callahan. Cooley, welcome to the show, man.
Guys, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely, it's been so long.
Yeah, it has. It's been a minute.
Look at us, right? Who would've thought? Yeah.
That's full circle.
Yeah. Now, we were talking a little bit before the show about Cooley. I'm going to go ahead and do us all a favor and put Cooley on the spot to a degree. Rob, we were talking a bit about Cooley's history.
We were.
Can you tell us a little bit about the man sitting just to your left, the contributions he's made to the PvP pantheon?
Yeah, well, one of the things that was really important for us was to make sure that the strike team was stacked, that we had the best designers on the strike team. And so Cooley is certainly one of those. He's a 6-year veteran of the PvP team who shipped over 11 maps.
Yeah.
A lot of them are fan favorites, and I'm not going to steal any more of Cooley's thunder. I'll just let him talk about some of that.
Yeah, it's not everyone's a banger. I mean, there's definitely some maps that people would want some words with me. But I
We'll
think,
save that for later. But what are some of the
just
bangers?
come find me. It's I think Burning Shrine, which is now Burnout. It's such a classic map. It's a Trials favorite. And then Midtown is another map that turned out really well. We built that for Countdown, but I was just chatting with another Destiny fan at the dog park the other day, talking about how well that map supports all of the different engagement ranges, which is definitely something that we try to do. We try to create places for players to use their favorite tools.
Also, Andre, thank you for re-upping on your sub for 7 months. I appreciate you.
With kind of a primary focus on, you were mentioning earlier, I think it was the 3v3 kind of competitive side of things was sort of the focus for these maps?
Absolutely, yeah. I think early on, a lot of the direction that we got was we wanted to bolster that competitive gameplay experience with new maps, tweaks to the modifiers of some of the modes. And so we, in our play testing, really focused on the competitive playlist and really centered and put those experiences at the forefront. And then, all Destiny maps, can suit a variety of modes. So we also made sure they worked elsewhere. But for the most part, we really did want to provide new experiences and just breathe a little bit of new life into the higher, maybe a little bit sweatier gameplay.
So weird how you were staring directly at me when you said sweaty, but that's fine. We'll let it go for now. Actually, briefly too on that topic before we kind of go into the guided tour of these maps. Having had so much time to sort of be a part of building the tapestry that so much of our PvP happens on, what were some of the key lessons that you've kind of taken away from having built those maps and seen them go through everything from trials to quick play and bringing forward those lessons into these maps?
Yeah, I think one thing that is always at the forefront of our minds is trying to strike that balance between providing the playground for players to express themselves and express their Guardian and their play style. So a lot of verticality, a lot of movement, and then balancing that with making sure players understand where they're getting shot from, and creating a satisfying PvP engagement that doesn't leave players cursing the map or feeling like they don't understand why they died. So we want to make sure that players have we want to provide a choice for players that's always available to them to riff and to work with their team to use the map to their advantage. So it's a balancing like a complex gameplay space that allows a lot of movement
What's up,
freedom without opening it up so much that you're not understanding like, geez, I can get shot from so many different places.
Certainly.
So we really, it's a little bit of back and forth. We'll open it up, we'll try some things.
Yeah.
Especially this time around, we tried some stuff and got into the weeds a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that's all part of the discovery process of finding the gameplay that we want to create. And so we go a little further, maybe too far in the openness and Swiss cheese, and then we bring it back and make it a little bit more focused and really dial in the engagements that we want.
That's awesome. I mean, speaking of getting in the weeds, there's no time like the present. Shall we go ahead and dive on in?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Cool.
Diving on in. All right, we got the first of 3 maps to go ahead and show off. This is the we have one on Europa, one on Neomuna, and then one on one of the pyramid ships in Essence, I believe is the name of the location. So this is the first one. This is here on Europa. Cooley, can you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here today, or where we are?
Yes, so this map is called Eventide Labs, and this is a long-forgotten human colony research outpost on Europa.
5 minutes left.
And
Keep it up.
it just so happens that Aramis has chosen this location as a refueling station for her catch. So here you'll see, perched just above the horizon.
What was this one
is her
called?
Catch in the skybox with, it's getting hooked up, and we have a servitor over here that's hooked up to the catch to provide that ether that the Elixni need. And so we really wanted to situate the maps in the universe and, draw on that deep Destiny lore. But yeah, we definitely have
Thanks, chat. Love your face.
Presence of Fallen here, set amongst the abandoned human, ice-encrusted structures of the past, which has been a really fun environment to work on. We definitely want to bring in as many new palettes as possible because there's so much great.
We're making a video on
are really cool. And
2 separate videos, one on the exotic missions, one on the PvP.
And PvP wherever we can, just to, the different palettes have different character that leads to different gameplay spaces.
The servitor does look awesome.
Also,
It looks close. It doesn't look too terribly large.
Having kind of looking at
A lot of little hidey
opportunities
holes, a
in
lot of cool
artistic lens,
stuff.
What were some of the challenges or even kind of exciting opportunities potentially of finding, new places for these maps to live in the more modern era of Destiny that we've been experiencing more recently?
Well, we really wanted to make sure that when we do an update like this, it's a major refresh to the map rotator, right? Like we're adding quite a bit of variety here. We wanted to make sure that we had 3 distinctly different places and places that players haven't seen a bunch of times. So fortunately, we had these available to us, and I'm looking at it again now. I mean, I'm not getting sick of looking at this. The team does such a good job.
It's gorgeous.
It looks
I mean,
amazing.
one of the cool things is just how purposeful everything feels in the world. The art team always pushes it so far where it really feels like you're walking into a truly recently defunct, human colony or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and the frozen world of Europa, I mean, they all have their advantages for PvP, but the frozen ice walls of Europa are just perfect for multiplayer, and I'm sure Cooley's going to talk about this a bunch.
What's up, Vex?
Actually, also too, Cooley, if you wouldn't mind, as people who have heard me talk too much about Destiny PvP would know, Dead Man's Tale and I get along a lot. Can you tell us a little bit maybe about some of the sightlines or opportunities that I'll have to maybe rack up some additional kills as I dive into this map the first time?
Totally. If long range is your thing, this spot out here is definitely the place for you. There's one spawn that happens for one team over by C and then one over by A. And so in these competitive modes, if you've got an objective out here, this sightline is really important to lock down. So this is a spot where you're going to have 2 teams poking and peeking each other, and then rushing over here to try to get to this zone and lock it down. And if you're rolling with that long range kit, you can hang back and sort of lock down this airspace here.
This reminds me of Burnout, where outside you have like the long lane, and then to the inside you have tight areas. It reminds me a lot of Burnout.
We also have sort of this the sightline in the middle, which will be pretty fun. It's definitely going to be a race to for each player or each team to kind of get to this spot and lock down this sort of portal here to ensure that you can push into this space and kind of control.
I like this little middle cavern too. This is really cool.
There's, lots of ways.
There's so
players
many
to come in
cuts.
flank. So if you're holding the space, you'll really not want to be here for too long unless you've got the support to do it.
Yeah. Make sure you throw those grenades right off of the rip, basically, when you're coming out of spawn to try and conquer that territory as best you can.
Yeah, one of the things I love about these ice caves is, it provides a lot of opportunity for grenades, like trip mines and to bounce things off.
True,
the back
trip
of
mines
the-
would be
of the
crazy.
walls. And the shapes here are just
The knife,
really
the
fun
bouncing knives.
to play with.
All right, so this is one of 3 maps. Let's go ahead and prepare to go ahead and move on to the next one here really quickly. We've got coming up next, Neomuna as well. So finding a place, on Neomuna, obviously that makes sense for PvP. Probably seems pretty natural, honestly, given just like how rich and vibrant and exciting of a place it is. What was it like, even starting from an artistic standpoint on this map, Rob?
This was a really exciting map for the team. It's a shopping/entertainment center for the Exos on Neomuna. And,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really fun decoration, and the spaces have a lot of character to them. There's a lot of recognizable things, human scale things that, look relatable. And we don't always get that in all of our palettes. And so this is also an opportunity for us to have a
Cirrus
really
Plaza?
clean architectural map
Cyrus
that has
Plaza?
a lot of crisp edges and
How do you say that?
very flat floors. So all of definitely the more competitive players and the sort of the more PvP diehards, they really take to this map, and it's an instant hit. People are, just right away pleased with, how readable the map is. It's one of those maps that you play a couple times and you get it. Like, you understand that it's all about this center atrium room that is really open and kind of has this big pit in the middle, and then
This is
there's
crazy.
this area down here, which is where a lot of objectives spawn, and there's some special ammo down here. But then there's also this place over here where the heavy ammo spawns, and players will oftentimes just pop up here to do a quick check and maybe like try to get a cheeky kill on somebody who's maybe running from cover to cover, but you can't hang out here for very long because you've got so many different angles at which you can get shot from. But that's kind of like that balance of what I was talking about before. Like, we want to provide that, but we want to make sure that it's not too powerful, or it's a risk reward, right? You're making a trade-off, and the players who are using the map well and who understand the map will be able to use it to their advantage.
Yeah, actually also too, to kind of focus on the readability, I remember overhearing some discussions with you designers talking about the clean zone in PvP. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and how it kind of helped inform the design of this map?
Yeah, definitely. I think the clean zone is something that a lot of developers really use to sort of create this space for the player to pop, right? To like really stand out from the environment. And so for us, it's about where the player's head height is. And this map is, just one of the examples of how it can really provide for a good PvP experience to have this sort of mark on the wall where you can kind of expect players to reside in.
Yeah. Till they jump around and strands suspend you in the air, and you're just left there cursing the heavens for a little while.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm speaking on my own behalf. This is looking fantastic. Yeah, this is, I will say, one of the maps that, having done a little bit of play testing myself, I still have to give you credit for perhaps one of the most diabolical heavy weapon spawns, or heavy ammo spawns, rather, I should see, in any PvP map. Like, the sheer amount of risk reward that goes into just making your way safely, or so you think, out to that particular territory.
Right.
As you guys were even building that,
There's so many places where you can see that heavy ammo.
Coolly, what was it like, sort of having that process?
I like the big wall of cover you
Yeah.
have on it, though.
Typically when we start laying out a map, we just kind of start with control, because it's a good base point. It requires 3, very well-defined combat pockets that have an objective in them. But then from there, we start mapping out the other objectives that might exist on a map, like the heavy ammo point. And I think we've kind of gravitated more toward having special ammo live.
There was a kitty in the bushes? I didn't see it.
Other objectives on the map, so you're not constantly having to make a choice of where should I go. But
Look at the little
we kind of map
the
those
little
things
overlook
out,
right there.
And it's sort of a formula.
little platform.
There's
You have a
definitely
second level?
Sort of a order of operations, so to speak. Of you start with these big strokes. You go to the next stage and start making sure that you've got space and combat pockets for maybe Dominion or some other game modes.
Very cool. A lot of different
things just
cover
kind of fall into
opportunities.
place
This is
from there.
super cool. Well, with Checkmate, it makes sense for them to have a special ammo spawn.
For all the fine folks at home, we're going to continue our guided tour, and we're going to make our way over to Essence, to one of the pyramid ships, to check out the final PvP map that'll be releasing in this pack. As we're flying in, I gotta give you guys credit. Like the space that exists inside those pyramid ships that's being terraformed by the Traveler looks just absolutely incredible. But this is the first time you guys have had a chance to really flex your muscles and build a PvP map out here. Rob, just to start from your perspective as we load in, what was it like developing this, playground for Guardians that's kind of so deep in the enemy's backyard?
I think it was really tough. I remember there were quite a few iterations of this map, and I know Cooley's going to go into more detail, but like from a high level, it's a pretty inherently noisy palette. Cooley was talking about the clean zone. There's some palettes in the game that are just very visually noisy. So the geometry is noisy. They create a lot of shadow and a lot of highlights just by the geometry itself. And then the textures, the shaders that are on the geometry, those can be noisy.
Yeah.
And then there's the clutter of the palette. So when you have an environment with a lot of entropy and there's just rubble everywhere, there's like garbage strewn around or plants hanging down, like we often do in Destiny, we have to declutter. Some of like the European dead zone maps, for example, are highly cluttered. And so this was an example of one of those fairly entropic, high clutter palettes.
So cool.
That the team had to kind of.
It's like a mixture between Vow and Root.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Cooley's going to talk about that process because it was quite a process.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, Cooley, I'd love to continue and just start there. Taking this space on a pyramid ship and kind of making it suitable for a PvP map. What was that process like from your perspective, kind of from more of a design side?
Yeah, it's again a process of back and forth. We start with mass out, and mass out is the simplest and cleanest a map will ever be. And from there we start developing the spatial character of the map. And one of the things we like to ask ourselves is, what is this place? And even with a more abstract palette like the Essence ship, it's worth asking that question because we can leverage spatial archetypes that just kind of like naturally resonate with people. So like here we have, in this map, we have sort of these dueling huts, or these dueling ziggurats, and inside of them is this artifact or shrine. So maybe this is like maybe this part of the ship is a collection of mysterious artifacts that the Witness has collected. And so we lean on those things to give a little bit of rhyme and reason to a space that otherwise is completely abstract. And that is also really useful for us in terms of we can make any kind of space we want. Like, we're not limited by architectural constraints, but it can be tough sometimes to orient players in the map when you don't have things like doors or like TVs or any sort of human scale architectural pieces that kind of clue you in. So yeah.
It's also too is I remember we were talking a little bit before the show, Rob, even about what it was like from a design standpoint and bringing in external testers to try these maps out for the first time.
So Fritz,
can you tell us a little bit about that experience and kind of, as you I think phrased it, discovering your own blind spots?
Yeah, well, we've done this before for years, really, and we did it again here, and it was, I think, really successful because it was 2 days. They ran through these maps when they were still in development. They weren't too far enough along where we couldn't make some pivots that we needed to.
Yeah.
And they found a lot of stuff. I mean, for this map, for example, we thought it was in a pretty good place.
Yeah.
And a lot of things were called out. They didn't pull any punches. They were honest and clear.
When the world was going on in here, there's 3 new PvP maps. You missed a couple of them.
Sure.
These are all new PvP maps coming out.
And we took tons of notes, and it was also about, they gave feedback.
So beautiful. All of them look awesome.
As well.
Yeah.
They look like they're gonna be super fun.
Lots and lots of map feedback. It was incredibly useful, and
dude,
just another lesson.
The heavy placement right on top right there is crazy.
And it's so valuable to do that. And these, I can't say who they were, but they're very
no,
well
I
known.
think it's the same ship.
Folks in chat, who knows? But
Yeah, but
we
we really were careful about who we brought in because we wanted people that would be very pragmatic. They weren't interested in their own YouTube monetization strategy or how they particularly make content. They wanted the game
I'm somewhat of a PvPer myself.
to be in a great place.
Why did Riot Games pop up? True. I don't know why.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's pretty
and
funny.
So, and they were carefully selected that way, and great communicators who could articulate the feedback. They could really speak to what they were experiencing.
They're launching another game.
and
They're
what
done
we
playing
could do
Destiny.
to fix what they were experiencing.
Yeah.
And I'd like Cooley can probably.
But
say
there's
what he
also a
thinks
lot
about it
of
too,
like
but I was just
Vow.
blown away by
Yeah.
how valuable that was, and
There's a lot of Vow the Discipleship
Certainly.
looking things in
Yeah,
here
Cooley, can
too,
you
which
tell us
is
a little bit more
crazy.
about that experience on your side as well?
Totally. I mean, it's so fun to, those are some of my favorite moments when we can get a bunch of super
This comes out
fans from
next
the
week. I
community
think, yeah, these are coming with
and
Into the
show
Light. I'm not
them
sure.
work in progress stuff, and they can actually give us
mean, they look like they would be playable.
actionable feedback that we take back to our desks.
We'll
And
see.
talk about it, and we discuss how can we sort of take their feedback and move forward. And this content is for them in a big way, right? Like we need their approval. Like we absolutely, that's our mark. That's our goal, is to create content that they're gonna love playing and that they're excited to
I wonder
play,
if they're gonna
and that
use
their
these maps for Onslaught too.
communities are gonna get excited to play and sort of
Like how many map
learn
rotations
together
we're gonna
and
get.
and build strategies for. That's the funnest part of the job.
Yeah, I mean, also, Cooley, on your side in general, what are you most excited for players to experience once this gets out into the world with Into the Light?
Yeah, I'm excited to see these maps rotate into trials. I'm excited for players to have a totally new trials experience that, is going to be a sort of an experience of discovery of these new spaces and new strategies, and for players to also, the meta isn't really formed yet. I mean, like we sort of know how the map plays, but it's always a fun surprise to see in the wild just how the map ends
Bro
up
said in the wild.
sorting out and what people end
It's the
up
best
doing.
way to describe trials.
We're really looking forward to
See how the creatures deal with it in the wild.
Yeah. I mean, I count myself among the many that are excited to go ahead and dive on in, having more playgrounds to go ahead and dive on in on trials, no matter what the case is, to maybe try and go ahead and actually get some more competitive rank. Cooley, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through these today. We really appreciate it.
anytime. My pleasure.
Excellent. And all right, well, we'll go ahead and use that as a moment to conclude the quick tour as well of the PvP maps. We got a quick question from chat from Jake Asor asking about, are we going to get a playlist or mode that'll be just these new maps during Into the Light? And the answer is yes. When they launch on May 7th, we'll have a 3v3 playlist to go ahead and talk just about these items. I'd rather let you play just those maps. Rather, we're talking about them today. They're all going to be playing them very shortly. All right, well, that so far wraps up the first two segments of our show. But we've got, as I mentioned at the top, a few more announcements for you as well. So you may have heard us mention the word Pantheon in the TWID last week, or even on the show here last week potentially as well. We have got a brand new raid boss gauntlet rather, starting on April 30th. Now there will be more information about this in an upcoming TWID. You'll have more details to dig into shortly, but you will have the Pantheon coming up, where you'll have an opportunity to face grueling raid bosses in a weekly challenge with escalating difficulties and rewards. Now, this is a chance for you to go ahead and rally your clan or the perfect fire team with Fire Team Finder, if you're able to track them down, to go ahead and track down those exotics, adept weapons, any emblems you may not have gotten your hands on. But we have more details for that in the coming weeks. Keep an eye on the TWID. Cosmo and the community team, thank you for your hard work putting that together. Two, when you dive on in on April 9th, actually rather before we get there, I'm sorry, we will have the opportunity to you'll have the opportunity to get a title through your course of Into the Light as well. So if you dive on in, go ahead and unlock all the triumphs associated with the seal, you'll be able to march into the final shape with a brand new title, Brave, as well. So make sure, go ahead and get those big challenges bit off, so that way you can handle them as early as you possibly can and let the witness know that you're on the way. And we have three really, really cool things hitting on April 9th when Into the Light launches. The first one is, if you're a new player, you got a buddy who's just jumping into the game for the first time, and you'd rather not hang out with Shahan and the Cosmodrome, then you have an opportunity to go ahead and just join the front lines. You can skip the New Light campaign, give Shahan maybe a high five on the way out, ask him for a weekly bounty when you're back later, but you have a chance to go ahead and meet up with your friends, head to the Hall of Champions, grab the gift of the Thunder Lords if you so choose, and get ready for battle alongside them.
That's huge.
So you'll be able to go ahead and grab some of these New Light kits as well, depending on what your
So you can get a New Light kit. Oh, man.
Your barriers to dive in with your friends have never been lower. There'll be a chance to go ahead and dive on into everything you're seeing with Into the Light here. Also, we have a couple more things. We have some questions in chat about this as well from Idzepski and Atlas Live TV. But on 4.9, you'll have the opportunity to also change the way your character looks. So you'll be able to go ahead and change your hair if you didn't like your haircut, if you want to go ahead and change your face paint, if you want to go ahead and risk it to be one of those guardians who goes helmetless in the tower. I'm not sure if I'm brave enough, but I know many of you are. Your chance will be arriving very soon with Into the Light. And there will also be an opportunity to change your name. So, Guardian4681 out there, with the launch of Into the Light, we're also going to give you one more name change token.
Kane, you get a name change!
But our friends in DPS will be able to answer that
Where is
question for you,
Kane?
but you'll have that chance as well once Into the Light launches.
Where is Kane?
Now, there's a lot, but we also have one more thing for all of you.
Kane!
Next week, we're
Let's
gonna join you
go!
again for a special developer preview of some gameplay for
You get to be an
Destiny 2: The
adult
Final
now
Shape.
and not have a dumb
It'll be,
name.
here, wherever you're watching live, you'll be able to go ahead and watch it on April
W
9th
for
at
Kane. W is for
9:50
Kane
a.m.
in chat.
Pacific,
Double use.
where you'll get a
Double
chance to
use.
basically, again, get a look behind the scenes. The developers have been hard at work for some cool stuff that you are definitely not going to want to miss. And over the course of that show, Twitch drops will be live. So there'll be another emblem, which you can see here live on the screen, that'll be available after about 15 minutes of view time. If you haven't gone ahead and also unlocked the emblems that you got as a result of this show or that we're having available during the Into the Light streams, then you have a chance to go ahead and spend some more time unlocking those as well. But that does it. For starters, to all of you Guardians out there in chat, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We're thrilled about what we've been able to show off.
W
Thrilled
watch
about
party,
what the team's
man.
working
W.
on for Into the Light. So thank you for taking the time to join us. Chat, we see you out there having a good time. So thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today. Also, it goes without saying, but we'll go ahead and do so anyway, to the incredible team here at Bungie, building Into the Light, making all of this, the teams that you guys have been kind enough to represent. Thank you all so much for all of your hard work. We're nothing without the entire teams that we have here. Teams are obviously greater than heroes, and we're firm believers in that. And you're all great examples
Beautiful.
Of that whole scenario. To our play testers as well that have helped us bring this show to life, to Ashley, Peyton, and Michael here behind the scenes, thank you so much for showing off some of the cool new content. And of course, all of our guests, to Tom, to Rob, to Cooley, to Willie, to Noah, to Kelsey. I'm not forgetting anyone, am I?
Chris.
To Chris. Thank you.
Sizzins.
To the one and only Mr. Chris Proctor.
You're forgetting
as
me.
well.
I watch it every week.
Thank you all
Thank
for
me.
joining us. And now that is about it. So we're going to keep the stream here live until about 11:30, I believe, so you can go ahead and get a little bit more time racking up the last bits of those emblems. But in the meantime, that's it for all of us here at Bungie. Oh, also, I'm sorry, to the team of producers here,
Yeah,
everyone here
thank
that
you.
makes this show possible, they have the challenge of making me look good on camera, so obviously their work is cut out for them. Thank you all so much for helping bring this show to life.
W dev stream.
And
Noobs need
now,
to do the new light
finally,
intro.
we're gonna go
Nah.
ahead and sign off. And
It,
reminder, Into the
honestly,
Light
it just
launches next
confuses
week.
them more. I would rather them get
Meantime,
into like the
take
weekly
care of
grind
yourselves,
immediately.
Take care of each other, and we'll see y'all star side.
Like they just need to dive into like the actual game, because what does that do? What is Jesus? What does, you know what I'm saying? What does the new light campaign even do for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really teach you anything. Like, we don't need it. YouTube, thanks for watching the dev live stream with us on the watch party. We will be going live with a new video live stream on YouTube, but we're going to close this one out so it is just the watch party. We love your faces. We'll see you in the next one.